Hi class, and welcome to your next video on enzymes and chemical reactions. So the first thing we need to talk about is metabolism. Metabolism is just all the sum of chemical reactions that happen in your body. So where does all the food go when you eat it, and what happens, and how does it keep us alive? Our body breaks down our food through a series of chemical reactions, and all a chemical reaction is a reactant plus a reactant equals a product. All we are doing is rearranging everything. We are not changing anything. All the atoms stay there. We are not truly breaking down. We are just rearranging those atoms and electrons in this chemical reaction, and that's really important for us to understand. So, an example of a chemical reaction is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 yields 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy, which is ATP. Now, why did I use this example? Well, this example is very important because you might recognize the C6H12O6 as glucose and the 6O2 as oxygen. Well, this is very important because this is how we break down our energy into, our energy being glucose, into energy we can use being ATP. We need that oxygen to help us. So all we are doing is we are breaking down those bonds in the carbon, hydrogens, and oxygen, and we are rearranging them into the carbon dioxide and waters. If you see, there are the same amount of carbons, hydrogens, and oxygens on both sides of the equation, meaning we have not lost any atoms. We are simply rearranging those atoms. So we never ever lose the atoms. They are simply being rearranged. So most reactions take a long time because they require a lot of ATP input energy to get started. So to start a chemical reaction, we need so much energy, and we call that the activation energy, or the energy of activation. And any kind of chemical reaction needs that, whether it be vinegar and baking soda, whether it be you breaking down food in your stomach. Any kind of reaction needs that. So we always need some kind of energy to put into the reaction to rearrange those atoms, because we're breaking bonds, and breaking bonds does take a little bit of energy. So what are these enzymes? Well, enzymes are biological catalysts that lowers the amount of energy required for a reaction to get started. So biological just refers to anything that is living, and catalyst actually means something that is going to speed up a reaction. So a biological catalyst is going to speed up a reaction in a living organism. So what this does is it lowers the energy of activation. So the amount of initial energy to get the reaction started is called the energy of activation, which we just went over, but it's lower with the enzyme. We need less. So what happens is, without the enzyme, the red here we see, we need to get all the way up to here before it can start. And then we can start the chemical reaction. So when we get the the enzyme, we get the lower energy of activation. We can start the chemical reaction without as much energy. So let's keep going. So enzymes are proteins, which means they can be denatured by too much heat, electricity, being unbalanced, or salinity. So it's just like our proteins. They're made of amino acids. They are a protein. They are a special type of protein, but they are a protein, which means all of the characteristics of a protein do apply. They are substrate specific, and their active site will only recognize a certain molecule. What that means is they're like a lock and key, or they're like a puzzle piece. What the active site is what accepts the substrate, and the substrate is like a molecule that comes into the enzyme. So the active site lies on the enzyme, and it accepts the molecule coming in. and that's what's going to start the reaction. And the reaction occurs in the substrate. It does not occur in the enzyme. The enzyme, remember, is just helping out the chemical reaction. So this substrate piece has to fit exactly to the active site. If it doesn't fit exactly to the active site, it will not work. Think about a lock and key. You may have a key that can fit into a lock but will not turn. Just like here, something may fit in here, but the reaction will not go because it is not the specific substrate that enzyme needs. So a little more information. Enzymes are not used up in a reaction as long as they can maintain their shape. They can be reused over and over and over again. If they become denatured, though, they cannot be used. Their names usually end in ASE, so lactase breaks down lactose into two smaller sugars. So this is all we have for today. Make sure you took good notes, drew good pictures. We'll talk about this in class.